What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Halving Report podcast. I am your host, Brad Mines. I am deep in the jungle of El Salvador right now with our man, Ronnie. Ronnie is a central point of knowledge, I would say, in the community around Bitcoin Beach. He's been showing us great hospitality since we've been here. So thanks for doing this tonight, Ronnie.
No, thank you. I'm glad you're having a good time. That was a great introduction. Wow, I feel like, ooh, the pressure. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm glad you're having a great time here.
Yeah.
El Salvador, my home, your home.
Awesome. So we had a little preliminary chat, and I really want to give my viewers, listeners, a context because you have an interesting story. Not to give too much away about it, but being here before Bitcoin, and now you're so deep into Bitcoin. So if you don't mind, maybe a brief description of how that happened.
Sure. I came here because my family is Salvadoran. I've always had some touches to the culture here. I visited here a few times when I was younger, and being born in Canada, as I started growing up and going through life, I landed here in El Salvador kind of as like my first place to go home, and it was just here as a kid who graduated university out in Toronto, has a finance degree, and had a career in sales. And I just felt like it was such a great opportunity here in El Salvador when I touched base. Every time I came here, I felt it was just, I couldn't describe it really. It's still hard to describe. I'd say it's a feeling of being home, where everybody's very lovely, the smiles, the sun, I think the weather, the atmosphere, it all helps. So everybody's in a really good mood. And it was something that I had never felt, or maybe something that was missing back home. So get here and just putting my feet in the sand. Really, like I had no idea what I was doing here. I didn't have a job. I was, running my own business. So not your typical job, but I was running my own business to stay afloat. I was even trading in stocks and stuff at the time, crypto as well. A little bit of that, but not too much time spent there because once I got here, it was an opportunity to meet a lot of wonderful people. This town is full of just talented people, people who have dedicated their time and effort to really making like an impact, right? So I get here and I'm just putting my feet in the sand, getting to know people, and I felt very welcomed here. And I felt like I wanted to explore more about what was happening here in El Sonte specifically. Got a chance to visit a couple other towns, but spent most of my time here, right, in this town. Going back and forth between here and Canada, I guess at the point was kind of just deciding, where I was going to spend the rest of my time, where I was going to focus, I guess I'd say the rest of my time. I think that's an important differentiation there. And I fully committed to being here in El Salvador and listening to what was going on. I'm here at Bitcoin Beach. It was termed Bitcoin Beach in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. That's when Mike Peterson started the project here. That's when circular economy really hit El Sonte, right? So I'm here. I'm meeting a lot of interesting people. We were talking about like crypto. People were talking about finance. People were talking about the economy. People were talking about making the place better, bringing money in. I was like, whoa, this sounds incredible. It sounds like such a great opportunity. And so come back and I'm just listening to people. I'm having a great time. I'm going out and giving people tours. That was one of the first opportunities that I really got to cement myself here, was being able to work with a tour operator here in El Sonte, a local tour operator, being able to meet people, being able to learn about my country, really took under the wing of being able to learn about the culture and really immerse myself into what the culture was here. Because that was the original purpose of coming here to El Sonte, coming home to El Salvador. And so I'm involved and I get to meet the team, Bitcoin Beach, get to really dive more into me questioning, what Bitcoin was. And I could see a use case for it here, unlike really anywhere else. I saw a use case for it while I was paying for everyday food items, because before 2020, I would come here and I'd find it difficult to as a Canadian, to pay for anything. It was the US dollar, and before the US dollar, it was called the colon. It was the Salvadoran colon. The banks here wouldn't accept a Canadian dollar. Like, come on, who's going to take your funny money?
Right.
They take American dollars, so you'd have to convert once to American and then again to like Salvadoran colon to really make your money stand out when you get here. So I was used to that, and it was difficult beforehand. I couldn't support someone's business by buying them a 50-cent coconut. It was actually made very difficult for you to buy something like that. The access to financial instruments, just something as simple as a bank account or something as simple as a point of sale machine, was very, very difficult at that time. I remember having just thinking about it in 2018. I'm like, man, I think I heard about this thing called Bitcoin. I wonder if that'll ever, it could have been something I thought, because I struggled. So that's a vivid memory of why when I got here, implementing myself and learning about Bitcoin was cool, because it's a solution, and this town is very solutions focused, solutions based. The country right now seems very solutions based. You have the president fixing problems that have been happening here for decades, and so it's just this energy, and that's what I think, what I felt, that's what attracted me to really moving out here, living here, trying to be a part of what was happening here. You feel supported, you feel, don't get me wrong, there's things happening all over the world, so nothing new here. This isn't some utopia, right? But it's as close as it can get, and we're really just trying to have an effect. I really, it's great to hear those words. I really appreciate your kind words, and I'm just trying to give back, because I'm from here, but I'm not. I don't also feel like I'm from here. I don't have the culture from here. Hopefully, as time goes on, I can actually immerse myself and become more, and be able to reach out to the Salvadorans, because it's coming back here has been a really like awakening and homecoming, I would say. Wanting to help, and that's all I want to do. Anyone who wants to be helped, give out education, help out with community projects, and I think everyone here who runs any type of Bitcoin business, it's kind of what people are doing, doing things in a different way, helping different people out in their own community. The Bitcoin circular economy is a really interesting, really cool concept. And it's more than a concept now. The team at Bitcoin Beach, and I did such a great job of making it happen here. And so now it brings people like you, Brad.
Yeah.
It's so funny that we come from similar places. We were born in similar places, and we've come here to meet in El Salvador. And so I get to be interviewed by Brad Mines. How fucking cool is this? I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate those words too. And yeah, I find it so interesting that folks that are here and have just been onboarded into the Bitcoin community, like you said, it's working here. Folks are using the Lightning Network. They're paying for goods and services. I'm actually finding it way easier and less expensive to use Bitcoin here. The countries, we spoke privately about the laws, and hopefully I can dive a little bit deeper into the laws around here to get the playbook of how people can come here and integrate. But how have you seen, like, you were back and forth, and now you're here full time now for 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
3, yeah.
And so, like, how has the community developed since you've been here full time?
That's a great question. The community has grown. I'm seeing people's businesses, continue to get stronger. The teams, the effort, everything. I remember getting here, and it almost seemed like every business was run by one person. And it was just like, oh, how does everyone do all this? And now, as I've been here for the past 3 years, I'm seeing everything kind of expand. El Zonte becoming a place where I don't really have to leave here. People are offering the right services. There's a community-based situation, just like anywhere else. There's growing pains, right? But we have, I was looking at pictures. We have safe, I guess, concrete roads now in town. We got a really nice lit bus stop where you feel safe. You can feel you feel like you're in a first world country, right? And so it's such a beautiful place. I'm totally in love with this place and being here. I like to think that we're going in the right direction, and people are contributing correctly, and I think that's also part. I got to make sure I contribute correctly as well. It's a lot of it is run off reputation and relationships. But I really do believe that we're all going in the same direction. We're all headed in the same direction. We all kind of want the same things. Right. And I feel that top down, bottom up. People are obviously a little hesitant to try something new, but you educate them enough and they come and ask questions, and you can if you can solve one of their problems, then they're going to be more open to it. I've seen it. And I've seen it happen here faster than I've seen it happen anywhere else. I mean, I can't say I was evangelizing Bitcoin in Canada because I wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near there. Um, but here I find they're just like, okay, maybe the first time they'll be like, no, Bitcoin, no. Then the second time, which will be like 24 hours later, I'm asking them again, and then yeah, I have the wallet now, so let me go open it for you. And then they realize they don't know their password.
Yeah.
So the third time, they're like, yeah, we got it, all right. So it's a lot faster here than I would think anywhere else. So people are open. There's still so much. Like I'm just new diving into this, right? I'm still learning a lot about what Bitcoin was. You were telling me some of the story, and it's really cool. I really appreciate you. So I want to be able to pick more of that and understand more about Bitcoin. Just running your own node and forks and all that sort of stuff is. I don't come from a developer or that type of background at all, and so that's not the point of view I came from it at. If at least to me that wasn't not that it wasn't attractive. I just couldn't relate to it. And so I have a lot to learn still, but it's just happening at a pace. Today, for example, I was able to go. I needed some cash to my dog. My dog is ill, and I needed some cash. Really quick emergency cash. And what are you going to do? I'm so happy that I was able to just go down to the ATM, take out some cash, and be able to take care of things. And I walk outside of the bank. It's funny. The Chivo ATM was in the bank, but I walk out, and there's a couple other banks there. And there was a lineup of like people. It would have taken like hours to be seen and get your money. So I see El Salvador developing in a positive way. The infrastructure's there. There's a lot that's coming. A lot of work to be done, but I look forward to it. I think I'm happy to be here.
So speaking of things coming, a big part of what I want to talk to you about tonight is the Bitcoin hardware store. I told you again in private that I think this is going to be something very special in the area, and it's going to be an attraction because these things don't really exist back home for me and a lot of other places. So I think it'll be one of the spots that a lot of Bitcoiners are going to come to El Zonte, and they're going to be like, I want to go to the Bitcoin hardware store.
I hope so.
And see what's up.
Yeah, cool.
And see the various products that you guys are now showing at the farmers market. But you were so kind enough to give me a sneak preview of inside your location there, which I think is super awesome.
So, yeah, super awesome, super secret. But as soon as it's open, everybody will know. It's gonna be
okay.
Yeah,
but it's on Twitter, so it's not not this secret that I can't mention it yet, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, of course.
Okay. So my first question surrounding this is why the Bitcoin hardware store?
Yeah, I mean, again, as I was telling you, my foray into like self-custody Bitcoin, kind of the ethos of Bitcoin is still fairly new. So being here and learning about Bitcoin and being able to use Bitcoin, I'm from where I come from in Canada, I guess you could say. I didn't have a Bitcoin wallet. Like, are you kidding? I didn't even know what that was. And so I get here and I'm learning from people like, My First Bitcoin. They have a great diploma program, really going to what Bitcoin is, how to self-custody it, why it's important, going into a little more technical details. Obviously, it's a 10-week book, and it does such a great job. So being able to collaborate with them, being able to collaborate with Bitcoin Beach, seeing what they're doing, and then being able to use Bitcoin in a way that is actually like in a real life situation. Like I'd mentioned before, when I got here, buying anything was difficult. And then this new technology comes in here, Bitcoin. Someone from my background, I love tech. I love playing with toys. Like I have expensive toys, and it's fun. I like to play around with my hands. And so thankfully I was able to, and I understand I'm super privileged. I have these tools to access being from Canada. But even then, it was still super difficult to be able to figure out, okay, well, what am I using when I'm using a custodial wallet, a custodial Lightning wallet? How does this work? How do I just go to the ATM put in some money and be able to buy Bitcoin. Bukele said that I could just buy it at any time. And so I'm thinking, all right, cool. I'm trying to figure out a new way to use some new type of money. It actually, for someone like myself, it wasn't as straightforward. Being here in El Salvador, it was either you use a custodial service or you pay lots of money. You don't know who you're getting it from. You're taking all these unwanted risks to be able to use the hardware needed to be able to use Bitcoin. Right? To be able to run a node, to be able to mine a little bit, to be able to have a wallet. Like those are some of the I believe, the vital parts of Bitcoin, right? So it wasn't easy. The education was there. People were very intrigued, but being able to find the correct tools for your needs is a space that's still lacking. So I saw the opportunity and I said, first thing I did was I got all what I would say needed to store Bitcoin, to use Bitcoin, in all its forms. I'd say I mine, I run a node, I have a node, and I use Lightning. I use layer twos. So I'd like to think I'm living on a Bitcoin standard, and it's fun, and it's fun for me, but it's difficult. It's not easy. It's a lot of logistics. So going back to my business background and always being an entrepreneur, I was like, you know what? I need to be able to provide this. There has to be an easier way. Bukele drops a couple of laws. We were talking about the laws. Bukele drops a couple of laws, and I'm thinking, wow, this is very, very exciting for the country. This is going to allow people to have access to learn about technology, have technology come in, be able to use it, be able to take advantage of it for the next 15 years. This is absolutely fantastic. This is such a great call to, it's giving people the call to action. Like, you have to come now. We've opened the door for you. This is a great place to come in and start a business and teach people stuff. So come here and do it. And so I was like, all right, cool. And I'm going to try it. And so reached out to some of these hardware devices, and asked them, do you guys want to be on board being here in El Salvador? Because you'd be surprised. I meet Bitcoiners all the time, and people have different equipment, and then you ask a Salvadoran and they have nothing, right? And even within the Bitcoin community, everyone wants to try everything, but you can't, like, where are you going to test it out with your hands? Where are you going to see what really works for you? Obviously, there's privacy related issues, but I think people were looking for this. People were asking for this. Coming to the Adopting Bitcoin event was such a great event for me. And it was something that I mentioned to you earlier. I would say was the moment that really orange pilled me, was being around so many amazing projects, seeing what people were aspiring to do. And so that inspired me. That inspired me to be like, all right, well, what challenges did I experience while getting newly into this? I wanted to become super self-sovereign and independent as I could be. So what was the best way to do it? And I found obstacles. So really the point of the hardware store is to resolve these obstacles for people, is for it to become a chance that you don't have to pay 100% over what retail price is just because you live in a place like El Salvador. Like, that doesn't sit right with me. And apparently it doesn't sit right with Bukele. He's doing, the right things to make sure that the right laws, policies are in place so that these businesses and ideas and structures can strive. And that's what I think is really, really awesome. And that's what makes me just feel super, supportive. The community here is fantastic. You were at the Bitcoin Farmers Market. It's a great community and everyone's supporting, and there's opportunity to support, and everyone's super happy and friendly. So many different projects. Everyone is looking forward to the next thing. Everyone's looking forward to, the next person that comes here. And the hardware store is just that. It's just trying to add value for people that come in and want to test out new products, learn about Lightning. We spoke about, that's not something very common. So the hardware store is just a place that you can come and learn about on-chain, learn about how to be sovereign, learn about Lightning, learn about layer twos. A welcome place for anyone who wants to speak about Bitcoin and talk about Bitcoin and talk about whatever project is coming. Like, yeah, it's the store. Come hang out. That's the purpose of it. I want to hear about the projects. If it's on Bitcoin, I want to know about it. I think in the store, there's hoping to be like a little bit of a cafe so people can come and hang out, and it becoming a place where you can come and just talk about Bitcoin. If you want to come talk about Bitcoin and support any of these projects, learn about what's going on in El Zonte, just a place to hang out.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think it will be a major spot where a lot of Bitcoin people, and me personally, like I was super excited to come across you so early in my trip through Pete. Shout out to Pete. I know he's gonna be watching this from New Jersey. So
I miss you, Pete. Come back soon, buddy.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing you here, man.
Yes. I just launched our episode this morning.
Awesome.
He was super stoked about that. Great candid conversation. It was over at the hotel, so folks were coming in, serving drinks. It was a fun environment. So my next question is surrounding the hardware store. What's your goal? Is there a grand opening? Is it going to be ready to go by the Halving party in early April?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the goal, I guess, is to have a soft launch in the new year, starting January, as soon as we can, and then from there, kind of being there for people who come to the Halving party and come check it out. I see a lot of great things happening for Bitcoin, over the long term, not even just the short term. And the goal of the store really is for the long term, It's from here to 10 years from now, I want to be here. I want to be in El Zonte. I want to be adding value to anybody who wants to help this thing grow. I want to be here and know about what projects you have going on so that I can help you connect with the right people that are doing something that, I think would be a great mesh. That's the goal. The goal is nothing short term. Just open up, have a place for people to come hang out. Anyone who wants to learn about Bitcoin, it's in English and in Spanish, so anybody who wants to come learn Bitcoin from, what wallet do I get? How do I interact with Lightning? And then how do I save? Where do I save? How do I do my seed backup? Like, how do I create child seeds? How do I do a multi-sig? How do I get on Lightning? Because in a self-custodial way. How do I mine? How do I add to the community? How can I sell something and bring value and get paid in Bitcoin? And then how can I save? How can I save is the end goal, because you want to be available to have, you want to grow your wealth. I mean, let's just be real. You want to grow your wealth. So there's nothing wrong with that. You want to protect yourself. You want to protect your loved ones. You want to, those are the necessary things. So I think Bitcoin is that. I think Bitcoin is that, and I just want to help, in 10, 20 years and be here. I would love to, continue to grow El Salvador into the next, like Stacy and Bukele and Max, Renaissance 2.0. I really do believe in that. I'm working towards it, that's for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, protection of, this helps protect you and your wealth, your friends, your family, and not only that, but you're helping people that need it most. You're helping other people do the same thing that need it most by offering the same tools that you probably wish that would have onboarded you quicker or helped you get to that next level quicker. As we know, this thing moves quick. Right, like we're gonna see where everyone's expecting a lot of things next year.
Pete's expecting a lot.
Pete's expecting a lot, but you know what? It just doesn't seem abnormal to me since I've been here. The whole community is super bullish. A lot of people think we're going into a hyper Bitcoinization phase, and it's mind blowing to me.
Wow.
It's mind blowing to me, and if I'm praying that all these predictions come true, that the highest bid goes through. So
yeah, well, I mean, once the Halving party comes around, and next year, I hope you're back and able to see what the Bitcoin hardware store is doing. The community in and of itself, and being able to provide this value to people is keeping me I have to stay on my toes. I have to continue learning myself, because now it's not just myself. I'm teaching others, and I'm helping others, and I have support of have the support of such a great community. I mean, once the store is fully open, you'll be able to see all the partners that are actually in the store. There's more than just what's been displayed right now, and so the people who are there are who I feel people that have supported, done such a great job. I mean, they've been here in El Salvador. These are people who have been to the conferences and who have made action here, and I've seen them do great things with the products and helping Salvadorans. And so that's what the store is about. And so it's not just me. I'm very thankful to all the sponsors, and everyone's going to be at the store. Everyone's going to be showcasing their stuff. Everyone who's like just supported me all the way through. I'm excited to actually let everybody know what the final list is at the store.
Yeah, and well, I'm going to create some anticipation as well with this podcast. Hopefully, Ronnie, I definitely want to be back here for the having party in early April. So I'm going to try to make that happen. Maybe make my stay a little bit longer next time. Yeah. Maybe permanently one of these days.
I can't wait.
Yeah, man. So I'm curious because just in my short stay here, I'm only here for 8 days total, and I've already seen so many international Bitcoiners come in and out at the hotels. You're pretty central here. How often do you see that? Is that like every week there's a bunch of new Bitcoiners coming through? I know we're early, and we're probably going to see a ton more next year after the halving and price increase. What do you think? What do you see right now?
Yeah, good question. I'm super bullish. I'm super excited. I remember again when I got here, I didn't really know much of the community. Everyone was I wasn't even using Twitter back then, actually. Right. But I've seen a steady growth. I've seen it happen over the past 3 years. Now more than ever. I mean, we've had the third Adopting Bitcoin conference. We're going through the third phase of this, I guess, as my time here of like the summer season and the busy season. And as I've been here, I'm seeing more people show up on the daily. I can't even remember how we ran into each other, but someone, I actually might have even reached out to you on Twitter or something and seen that you guys were coming, and it's like that wasn't the case before. Being here in El Salvador at first, I was like, oh man, I'm lucky. I had Bitcoin Beach here, and so I'd see them maybe every day, and we'd have a couple of chit chats about Bitcoin, like 5-minute chit chats. Now you can sit all day talking to people about Bitcoin. And it's more and more, and just these great projects, these great minds, these brilliant minds coming here. You have the Bitcoin Farmers Market, again, a great event where it just brings a fantastic amount of people here. So, and I'm seeing it grow. I'm seeing it grow before my eyes. I'm super excited. I'm so bullish. I'm so bullish on El Salvador. I'm so bullish on what's going to happen here.
I feel like people coming here, like we say, we're seeing people move here, Bitcoiners move here. I feel like moving here in El Salvador is like sort of like buying Bitcoin early right now. Like it's an early opportunity to set roots and establish yourself and make these connections before things pop off even more. And we've talked about this a little bit too about the real estate surrounding Bitcoin Beach and how that's gone astronomically high in the past couple of years since enhancement in securities. And everything around that. So super interesting stuff. I'm gonna ask you if you have any resources, like where do you like to go to learn more about Bitcoin besides these great opportunities of being face to face? Like where do you go online to learn more?
That's a great question. Honestly, I spend a lot of my time on Twitter.
Yeah,
same. I'm on there learning about the different projects. And I like to get hands-on. I like to get really, if I hear about a project, I'm willing to throw myself in, sign up, get an extension on my node, wherever I can find it, I'm going to figure it out. And if I can play with it, I'm going to play with it. And I think that's the best way. These projects are trying to solve real world issues. And so I'm willing to get myself in, find out about these projects. I think I'm really lucky because people come here all the time, so I get to hear about awesome projects. And I just reach out to them. I follow their Twitter, and the first thing I do is I start asking questions. Maybe sometimes it gets me in trouble. Maybe some people don't like me, but I want to know. I want to figure it out. And so I'm on Twitter. I would suggest looking into, I don't know. I've been spoiled here. That's a hard one.
You are spoiled here. Yeah. No. Twitter's a very fair source, and like, from my experience, the community still lives on Twitter. And I started using Twitter. Like I signed up in 2013, knowing there was something there, like news, but it wasn't until Bitcoin happened for me that I was like, okay, now this is like I'm all in on Twitter all the time. It's where I get most of my guests for my show.
Yeah.
It's been the most amazing tool and definitely my favorite piece of social media that I wouldn't want to lose at this point. Maybe we'll see, different developments in the future, but right now it seems to be still the hot spot.
I will give a shout out though for like any beginners who want to learn about Bitcoin in Espanol, in Spanish, like my first Bitcoin curriculum, and I know it's been now translated into a few languages.
Mm-hmm.
For any beginners, 100%, that's where I would spend all of my effort in. Getting some hands-on tools as well, I think is super important.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're deep diving into the rabbit hole of Bitcoin, like get on Twitter, pick up some tutorials on YouTube, and then get yourself the equipment. Stop by the hardware store. We'll get you started. We'll get you whatever you need and play with it yourself. I think that's the best. There's a lot of projects upcoming, and they're going to be at the store, so you'll be able to see open source, free and open source projects, and people who have been doing great things in the Bitcoin space. And so you'll be able to come to El Salvador, come to El Salvador, come to the store, play with these things, see how it works. I'll try and answer as many of the questions as I can. And yeah, come see what Bitcoin can do for you.
So I want to jump into everybody's favorite question, price predictions going into after the next halving. So just let me clarify. What's the top and what do we think the top will be?
Okay.
And this is not financial advice for anybody watching.
No, not
financial
advice. I'm not a finance guy at all.
So let's go the top, next cycle's top and bottom, post 2024.
Next cycle's top and bottom. Jesus. I'm going to say next cycle's top. I'm going to just go 8.5. 8.5 million?
8.5 million.
Yeah.
So just when I thought nobody could be more bullish than Pete, you come up with 8.5 million.
Really? Oh man. All right. Well, I'm here in El Salvador, so I don't know what that speaks. I could be living in a crazy land right now.
Oh my God.
I'm saying 8.5, and then.
So you're 100% serious.
Yeah.
You're 100% serious.
This is my most educated hypothesis.
That
I could give you, and like we know what a hypothesis is, right? It's just an educated guess.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go with 8.5 as a top, and then as a bottom, I'm gonna say like a million.
Wow,
Well, that's
a big fluctuation. Not like we
have till 2028, right? So that's a long way to go.
Yeah. So historically, we've seen the price top out, I think 6 to 10 months post halving.
Okay.
So that means
next year at some point.
So we're going to go straight up at some point. Very interesting. I love the bullish sentiment. I've never heard any more bullish sentiment than I've heard here in El Salvador. It's wild. And you know what? A lot of people they have the reasons. They have the reasons. And the sentiment is just, we're going to that cycle of mass adoption, hyper Bitcoinization. So you're certainly not alone with your super bullish opinions. And it's getting late here in El Salvador. So
you see the wind, eh?
Yeah, the wind's coming. So I'm gonna ask you to let people know where they can follow you and learn more.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna go with Twitter. You can follow myself and the store. Really, if you want to follow the store, I'm gonna give you that one. If you want to do more research yourself, you can find it. But TBHS_SV. It's just the Bitcoin hardware store here in El Salvador. Find me on Twitter. That's where I'm going to try and do and let people know about what's going on here in El Salvador. And come visit me. Come see me. You want to come find out why I'm so bullish. You know where I'm at. I'm here in El Sonte. Come here, see for yourself. Come and verify it. I hope to see you. I hope to see you at the store. I hope to talk about Bitcoin with you, to be quite honest. And come to the halving, see what, if I'm right or I'm right, and come tell me why I'm wrong. I'd be good. Or if you have more more bullish predictions, I'm totally in. So welcome everybody. I really want everybody to come, be able to feel welcome down here in El Salvador. The Bitcoin hardware store will be open in January. Again, like I said, soft launch. I'm on Latino time, so I'm on El Salvador time. But I'm super excited to be able to bring this. I'm super excited to work with the partners at the project. And I know they're excited too. So a lot of things are going to be happening here in El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of exciting things are going to be happening for Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
for the people here, for the community. I'm super excited. And thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time.
I had a great time. It's my last night here in El Salvador, first time ever coming, and you've been a great host, showing me around, taking me on hikes, showing me your store, give me preview of what you're working on.
I'm glad we made it back from that hike, huh?
Oh man, my legs were jelly for a day and a half after that. So, oh
Santa
man,
Ana was easy after that one.
oh geez, I might be jelly tomorrow too. I might be jelly tomorrow. So thanks for everything on this trip. It's been awesome. You've given us a great experience. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, man. Here we go like this.
All
We
right.
go one, and then we pound it.
Boom. Done.